Well, good afternoon and welcome to Crafters TV for the second show of the day, but a little slight change because you've got me presenting today. And for the rest of the day, actually, I'm here for the next 2 days. I'm here till tomorrow. So welcome to everybody. I'm really excited. We've got a really great show lined up for you. This is all about crafting with your stash. So craft your stash. And it's all about the ink pads today. So this is absolutely fantastic and I can't wait for it because seriously, you're going to learn so much. You might have got those questions in your head. You might have got all of the ink pads already, but not right sure what's for what. And I can't think of a better lady, because I'm going to do it straight away. I can't think of a better lady to be educating you, inspiring you, and telling you all things about these fabulous ink pads. And you've already seen the ones this morning. It is, of course, our gorgeous Debbie Fisher. Good afternoon, Debbie.
Ah, thank you, Debbie. That's only because she can't say herself. In fact, if anyone's best placed, I mean, we've all got our strengths in our different areas and our crafting of our stash. But I would say Leanne and Debbie is definitely the ink pad. So I'm going to put my ink pad hat on today and hopefully not get told off by anything that. And who knows, maybe I could teach Debbie something.
Do you know what? That's what I'm right excited about it though, Debbie, because you know I love me ink pads. Yes. I use them practically all the time I craft. But to get somebody else's perspective, somebody else's ideas. We're always learning, and that's what these shows are all about, which is why we've started these Craft Your Stash shows. Who knows, they might be here to stay, Debbie. That's what I think.
Oh, absolutely.
You never know. I know we're doing these special shows, but for me, it's all about getting to know those things that you've already got. I mean, we do have options for you as well. We always do here at Crafters Companion and at Crafters TV, where you have got options to buy some. If you want them, you might get inspired today, and you can head over to the website, but that's not the main focus of this show. The main focus of this show is obviously learning about all those ink pads. One of the ink pads is missing because you canny crafters have already been shopping and sold out of one of the sets, although we do have some individuals and we'll talk about those as the show comes on. However, we're not here alone. It's not just myself and Debbie. We've got lovely producer Nick, who is steering the CTV ship today for us. Our lovely Charlotte. Hello, always posh hello, isn't it? It's always a lovely posh hello from our Charlotte, who's in charge of all those lovely camera angles and getting into those close shots. We've also got, and I'm just going to check because I think it is, our lovely Susie T. I've not spoken to Susie for a while, but our Susie T is on the socials. So any questions, this is an interactive channel. We've said this many a time. We're here for 2 hours, we're live, we're interactive. Anything that you want to ask, absolutely, now is your opportunity. We'll stop, we'll pause, whatever it is that we're doing. If there's a question needs to be asked, then we'll fire that question over to our lovely Debbie, who will answer anything ink related for you today. So it's going to be a good one. So our lovely Susie T is in charge of all that. So please do ask those questions. We've also said as well, before we started the show, producer Nick said to me, what about asking for some pictures? I love a good picture. I love being inspired by you gorgeous lot as well. So if there is anything that you want to share with us in your inky techniques or your inky backgrounds, then please do send into, and you can see that right at the bottom there, studio@crafterscompanion.co.uk. Debbie, I can see. I've got my new glasses on, Debbie. I've got my new variofocals on. Just getting used to all this, first of all, but I can actually read what's in front of me on the screen now. So it's an absolute joy to be able to see again. But please do share your makes, your inky backgrounds, and send in your pictures, and our lovely Charlotte and Nicola will send them through to the studio and we can share your makes with us as well. And of course, in the background, but you know what? We're spoilt today, Debbie, because it's not just Tracy in the building, Jake in the building, Juliet, they're all in.
They're all in.
They're all in today. I can see them busy away in the background. I think they're doing your things for you, Debs.
They're doing things for me.
I think they're doing you lovely.
I know, I feel we are so lucky. Do you know what, Debbie? We have just the best team. I've got a lot going on we've got a lot going on down at Hobby Maker next week, and they're doing some stuff for me that they don't need to do.
I know.
And honestly, I could just cry.
I know, she nearly had you in tears, didn't she? She did. Tracy nearly had her in tears because we have the best team in the world that we work with, and those girls and our lovely Jakey, they work tirelessly behind the scenes as well. Right, so we're going to get straight started, I think, Debs. We did say we're not,
Absolutely.
you know, we're not going to focus on the, like, this is what we've got. We've got them. We'll perhaps go through them as well. I will tell you, though, if you are spending today, because we've got a little cheeky gift, haven't we?
Absolutely.
Anything over £10 or $10, if you're spending today, we're going to give you a lovely free gift from our Sarah Signature range, which is that gorgeous Country Lane Country Cottage. I love this one, Debs.
I love that. And do you know why I love that? And I think it's a great giveaway as well, because if you love your Christmas cards, use this and have a Christmas tree in the middle of it. So it looks like you're looking through to your Christmas tree, like an aperture card. But if you want an everyday card and you just want to put those beautiful flowers on there, it's ideal. I think it's a beautiful one to have. And if you've already got one, give it away as a gift.
Absolutely. That's a really good shout out there, Debs. Now, that is going to come. You don't have to do anything. That is automatic. Once you've bought something at £10 or $10, that's going to get put into your, literally into your package. You don't have to do anything. The one thing we will tell you is that if you are shopping on the website, at the moment, what I want you to remember is that your discount will be, it'll come off at the end. So your Club Inspired discount will come off at the end at the checkout process. So we just want you to remember that when you are shopping. And we know that you are. We know that people are getting ready for a certain event that's going off next week. I can't remember what that is. Actually,
what is it?
It's my birthday this weekend, Debs.
I know it is, of course. Yes, absolutely.
It's my birthday, getting all
Happy
excited.
birthday.
I know. Well, I keep saying I get excited, but then it's another year that creeps up. And I don't get so excited because my son, although my son knocked a year off me the other day and I was like, I love you. I love you. He was going back down. I'm like, yes, that's the way to go. So yes, I mean, who knows what's going to be starting on Monday? I've absolutely no idea. Or have we? But we're going to get started and we're going to talk about, now, have we got a plan in action, Debs? Because I heard that we're going to talk about all ink pads. We've got Opaque Pigment ink pads, which I know are Debbie's favourites. We've got the water reactive, we've got quick dry, all of the things that you want to use. Shimmer ink pads are on as well, which I'm super excited about. But the one question that we get asked the most is when it comes to our finesse ink pads, which is the ones for alcohol and the one for our watercolour. And I believe that's where we're going to start into, Debbie.
Absolutely. Do you know what, Debbie? I always think that always start at the beginning of something, especially when we are crafting our stash, because it is the things that we get so confused about. And I know, I've been crafting a lot of years now, but I remember being really confused with ink pads and what you use for which different ink pads, whether it be water, whether it be your alcohol inks, and I love the fact that we've simplified it. Our finesse ink pads are like no other on the market because of the way they presented. So if we look down on our mat here, we can see I've got two, and I love straight away because I don't even need to read it. It tells me that's a water brush. It tells me that's an alcohol pen. Our finesse ink pads have literally broke it down into just real ease of use. So our waterproof dye means just that. It means anything you stamp and watercolour. So whether it be your sparkle pens, whether it be with a water brush, anything that's liquid you can put over here. And we do it in different colours. So we do the Nor Black, we do the Flagstone, we do the Pebble, and then we do the Rusty Brown. The Rustic Brown I've been using so much at the moment, Debbie. I don't know why, but suddenly I've started loving this colour and it's amazing. Then in your alcohol proof, it does exactly the same, apart from it means that you can colour anything from your tri-blends to your classiques to your Illustrator using this ink pad. And again, you've got the same colour family. So you've got your Nor Black, you've got your Flagstone, your Pebble, and you've got that Rustic Brown. And I'm going to prove to you what they do. So I've got two pieces of card here. One piece, I'm going to just bring that over a little bit because we haven't got a, what's it called? An L or an I? In the technical term, we don't have any graphics on the screen. This piece is my watercolour cardstock. This one is my alcohol proof. So let's put my alcohol to the side. I'm going to bring in, I've just got myself a butterfly stamp. I'm just going to go straight in with my top one and we're just going to ink that up. So all over my stamp, just inking that up. But before I do that, I want to get myself something. Actually, I should have done it the other way around. It doesn't matter, only because I'm going to make a little bit of a mess.
I know
so we've
what's
got
coming.
that. I've got myself a cup of water. So we're going to pop this onto here. We're going to stamp like so, and as soon as I stamp, I'm going to pour my water over it. And I do that because nothing has shifted, which makes these ink pads the most amazing ink pads ever. To get that crispness, to get that amazing stamp detail, that literally, you can see that's pouring with water and it's not moving, Debbie.
No.
And that's what we want from an ink pad, to know that we have that and it's not going to do anything harmful to your card. So let's clear up that water, and we'll bring in the alcohol one. So I'm just going to give this one a little wipe on the surface, just like so, and then let's just dry that as well. And then we're going to do the same, but this time I think you can guess we're going to use our next ink pad. So we'll put the watercolour one to the side, going to bring in our Nor Black. We're going to use that one to do exactly the same. This time I've just got our all-purpose cardstock. We're going to bring that ink in, just tapping that over, and then we're going to place that. But this time I'm going to have my alcohol pen ready to use, so you can see the difference in them. So we're just going to literally stamp that, and as soon as I've stamped, I'm just going to scribble over it. And the reason I'm just scribbling is because I want you to see that not one part of that image is going to move with me going over there. So I can keep going over there, and look at that. There is nothing on there that shifts that ink.
Absolutely.
So for me, that's really important when you're using whatever medium to get the right ink pad to start with. So that's the difference between our two ink pads. So that's those ones. Now, most of the time, in fact, pretty much all the time, if I'm doing any stamping today, because we're using ink pads, and it doesn't really matter what you use. I'm going to be using a lot of these because they're water reactive ones.
Yep.
So I know that I don't want this to react with water. That's what makes it waterproof. So that's why we're going to use those ones. So let's move this all out the way. I'm just going to clean my stamp up because I want to use that same stamp again in one of the demos later. So I'm just going to give that a quick wipe over. And we're going to start with our water reactive ink pads. So I didn't realise how long these have been around for, but they've been around quite a few years now, Debbie.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. And all we're going to do here is I'm going to create just a blended background. Now, it's entirely up to you what ink daubers you like to use. I'm going to be bringing in fact, let's use a few different ones so you can see the difference, and let's use a circle one as well. Let me find that one.
Do you have a personal preference when it comes to, because I know we've got lots of different ink daubers, from the finger ones to the round ones to the square # rectangle ones, but do you have a preference to which ones you use, Debbie?
Yep, I like the square ones.
Yes.
Yes, do you?
Yeah, I do.
Ah, okay, because a lot of people like the round ones. So these are all your different daubers or ink applicators. So you've got your square ones, you've got your sort of spongy ones, you've got your circle ones, and then you've got those thin ink daubers as well. So all of those are amazing. And all of them I use. So it's not like I don't use some of them. This one I like to do different techniques with them. I love these with the pigment ink pads.
Yes.
And I love just doing dots, dotted background, and then inking it up and then heat embossing. So I think that's a good one. I think it's just personal preference. I don't think any are any better than the others. What I like about the bigger ones is the fact that they are bigger. You can get a lot of ink down in one go. Now, the one thing I do get told and people say is that it always leaves lines on there. That's maybe because you're putting too much pressure to start with. So what I would say, I'm going to go right in the middle with this. So what I would say, use a light touch to start with. Now, can you see, if I'm just doing that light touch and blending that, I'm not getting no lines.
Yeah.
So, but if I went in harshly, and I don't want to do it, but if you go in harshly, you're going to get those lines. So, but I love this because it gives me that big lay down of colour straight away. So just bringing that off the edges there. So this is one way to do a background and pop down a lot of your colours. The other thing is, and which I hadn't got, and I do want to show you about our ink pads. Haven't got one there. Let me try and find, I probably used it in something else. I'm going to try and find you a colour here we go. Let me just grab these ones. Going a bit off-piste here. Just going to bring in our colour families, because what we're very clever at doing here is bringing you a 3-colour set, so a 3-colour blend set, which means you go, it's a bit like our tricolour pens, you go from one lightest colour to the mid colour to the darkest colour. We do that in all our inks as well. So no matter whether you are having your pigment ink pads, whether you're having your water reactive ink pads, or whether you want to bring in your quick drying ink pads, those are all the same colour family, okay? And they've all got different levels of a sort of density in the actual sponge itself. So this one, which is our water reactive, you can see it's got a hard sponge on this one. That's packed with colour. So that's amazing that you can get that laid down a colour. And it means, because of their water reactiveness, we can blend the colours together without using that same colour family, which is why I'm then going into our reds. Now the reds offer us an orange, the red and the Bordeaux, which are just beautiful colours to blend together. But I'm using my honey pot, which I think is a lovely colour, and then we're using the orange and then the reds. Just blending that over.
You can see how lovely already that's blending.
So nice, isn't it?
Are you using watercolour cardstock there, Debs?
No,
or?
I'm just using our multi-purpose cardstock, yes. It's probably my favourite cardstock to use, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I love it, yeah. I think if there was ever a cardstock to buy, I know lots of people love, I even like it for colouring in alcohol, even though I know that our Nina is the best cardstock for that. I even love it to colour in alcohol as well.
Yes, yeah.
So all I'm doing here is filling in the gaps, adding in that red, but you can see how beautiful that all blends together. And this is just one of the ways that we can use our ink pads. And I'm just going to use this one over the top to do this beautiful background. And then when we go into the yellow, you'll start to get a different orange tone come into that as well. So I do love them. I just love everything about them that create these just intense colours. And there we go. So that's the first thing you can do, is create that amazing background quite quickly.
Yeah.
And there's lots more we can do with that, but I don't want to continue that one because I want to show you other things that you can do with your water reactive. And I also want to keep that piece for another demo coming up as well. So let's pop those ones to the side. And then we're going to bring in a little piece here. This is my background. So another way to do a background, so let's bring in our different colours, not those ones. So many ink pads. So I'm going to have my fuchsia, my green there. And I think let's
lovely
bring
mix
in...
of colours here, Debs.
You what, sorry?
Lovely mix of colours there.
I know, I want to use as much as possible to show you how you can do different ones. So that's one way to do a background. So blending, it's what we call dry blending.
Yes.
So you don't need anything else with that. You just put your ink pad straight to your cardstock. What about wet blending? Now I always think that's a really cool way to do it. You can actually, there's different ways to do this. So there's ways where you can bring in your cardstock. So I've got a watercolour piece of cardstock here. And if I wanted to blend these two colours, so let's bring in the pink and the fuchsia. If I literally put these onto my mat, so pop that one there. Your glass mat is going to be your best friend, unless you've got one of our splodgy mats. I don't know what they would call them. Mixed media mats.
Oh, the mixed media mats, yeah.
But this is just great fun to do because it means that I can just take my, so I'm going to do the pink first, make sure we've got plenty on there. The more water, the more washed down, but we can literally paint our ink pad straight to there, and then I can take that purple and we can continue with that one all the way down. So it's just a case of picking it up and creating those backgrounds. So let's just pick that pink up, I'm going to blend that in a bit more, put some on the bottom, like so. Now this here, if you just sort of do that, you can literally, I'm just going to use the same piece because I'm not, this is just about showing you. I can put this down into here and just pick up like so, and we can create different backgrounds. But actually what I want to do is a completely different background like that. And I want to show you just a little bit of a tip to be able to put your inks down. I want to create a background with my piece of paper here. Excuse me. But what I want to do is I don't want it to go, so all I'm going to do is go round my edges here just very slightly, and that way I know that I just want my green inside that piece, so it's not going to create any differences. Yeah, so I'm not going anywhere I don't want it to be.
Yeah, I like that.
So just popping it in there, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of yellow in between just to give a little bit of a difference. And then all I want to do with that one is we're going to spritz this one with water. So with your spritzer bottles, I had one earlier and now it's disappeared, Debbie. That's typical, isn't it?
Always happens, Debs. It always happens. Do you need one getting? Have you got your hands on one?
It's probably right in front of me. I'm sure I see it earlier. Yeah, no, it's, if you wouldn't mind. Where's it gone?
I'll go and have a quick peek.
I'll find it. As soon as Debbie's gone and got me one,
A water spritzer.
I will find
Yep.
it. So what I'm going to do with this one, we're literally going to... Oh, she's got one. She's a star. It'll be somewhere. I'll turn up, won't it? It'll turn up. Thank you very much. Right, and all we're going to do with this one, so I'm just making sure all our inks... Now, if you've got an ink pad nearby, make sure you put the lid on because you don't want to be spritzing your ink pad with water. And then we're just going to literally give some light spritzing over the top. I don't want too much. I don't want to make it too wet because I actually want some nice white space in there. You could also, with your brush, I'm just going to take my brush, you could sort of just dab it. So if you didn't want it to sort of shape, so you can see the rounded shapes on there, if you just want to do it a little bit different, you literally, we're just going to put our card into there. It's just another different way of sort of splodging your, I know splodging is not a word, but it is in my, it is using the ink pads. You're just going to splodge away and literally create, look how beautiful that look. It's such a nice effect. And then you just want to dry that. I don't want anything more than that. You just want to keep that sort of, that background, because what I want is a really pretty background that goes with my next piece. So we're going to leave that like that. You can dry that off if you want. I've got one that I've already done. And then the other thing I want to do, so with your pink, if you literally dab a little bit on there. We're just going to take a paintbrush and then we're going to just pick this up, making sure we've got plenty, and then tap onto here. So it's another way of adding that extra discount, I don't know where I got extra discount from. I love that, detail is what I meant to say, extra detail, yes. And it's a case of just, but look how pretty that looks, just adding that extra bit on there. So never be frightened to create that extra detail on your background. Right, now I've got that one. Going to bring in another one here. And then what's going to happen is we're going to do what we call a wet on wet technique. So that technique is literally, I don't know if we can see this, it's a heat embossed image. Can you see? Hang on, we can just about see it on there, but you've got a heat embossed flower image that we've got.
Have you done it in clear embossing or white embossing, Debs?
So I've used clear.
Clear,
so all I've done, so I've used our translucent ink pad, and then I've just put clear heat embossing.
Yeah, you can see that there, yeah.
Yeah. So and then we can see. So what we're going to do then is we're going to do what we call a wet on wet, and I'm going to use my pinks and purples. So we're going to put some of our ink onto our glass mat. Never be frightened to use your mixed media mats to be able to pick up the colour. I'm going to put some purple in as well, and I'm also going to use some yellow. And bear in mind, all these techniques are just coming from one ink pad, our water reactives. They probably are the most versatile, wouldn't you agree, Debbie, out of all of them?
Yes, yep.
So what I'm going to do is take my wet brush and I'm going to actually paint. I did get a clean one, so I'm going to get some clean water just so we've got some. Not that it matters because we're going to be colouring, but I want you to see the technique come.
Yes, yeah.
So we're going to literally just put water inside there, and then I'm going to use my kitchen towel just to blot that and pick up. So we're going to start off with our pink. So picking up that pink, we're going to drop colour into here, like so. And this is what we call a wet on wet technique, because it actually just moulds itself into that image. It's just a lovely technique to do. And don't be afraid of it, because to start with, you'll be thinking, oh, it's not really coming together, but it does come together. It's just you have to give that time for those inks to, that was really weird. Sorry, this morning we were doing some, we had creative in, and we decided to do some gilding flakes, and all of a sudden this gold gilding flake has just flew in past me, and it really frightened me. I thought, what was that? Yeah, it was actually the gilding flake.
Come floating down, Debbie. It must have been up in the air somewhere.
Floating down, yeah, just floating down.
I love this technique. And you know, I haven't done it for such a long time, Debs. It's just reminding me of that wet on wet. I love that inky technique.
Yeah, it's a nice thing to do, isn't it? It's just something a little bit different. It makes it look quite like a watercolour.
Yes, yeah.
And you can put too much on or too little. It's up to you. You can take some away. It's just a really nice one. Just drop that in to that water, and it's just going to do its own thing. And I love that. I think it's just a really nice way of adding extra colour, adding extra definition. And you don't get the full effect until it's all dry. So it's just really nice. So at the moment, it just looks a bit messy. And I always used to think that, thinking, oh, it's just looking messy. But once you start doing your flower and filling in that gap, it just looks incredible. So let's just pop some more water in there, although I've got a bit of a dirty brush now. But we can still start adding in some of that purple. And then let me just take some of that yellow, and we can drop that into the middle there. And then once you start letting that to dry, the green there, let's just do the leaf so you can see a little bit of that pattern coming together.
That looks lovely.
I'm going to just pop that leaf in. So popping that extra into the leaf.
So did you drop the water in first then, Debs, and then go in?
Drop the water, yeah, and then go in with that green. So we're going to pick that green up.
Now, I've had a question come through, which I'll ask in a moment, because I'm conscious I've not done any hellos to anybody that's watching.
Absolutely.
So we'll do that in a moment, and we'll address that question. So I have seen that Lynn Morton on YouTube is asked a question, so we will get round to that in a second, Lynn.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're just going to keep going with those, and because that's going to take a little bit to dry, and then I'll bring in my finished one so you can see how that then looks. So I put that more colour. Once that's dry, put some more colour on again, and then you just get this really nice look, and it looks sort of watercoloured, and I think that's a really cool technique to do. And then the next thing you can do as well is you can then go back to your blending. So let's bring in now our ink daubers, and I'm just going to go in with that purple one at the top there. You can start to use these to come in at the sides. So really be creative with your edges. And I think this is a really nice way. In fact, I think this was probably my first use of ink pads, was creating a border. I don't know about you, Debbie, do you remember years ago it used to always be peel-offs?
Yes.
And then all of a sudden ink pads made this massive thing into the craft world, and it sort of took away, and it was like, oh my God, we don't need peel-offs anymore. We can literally create all these colourful borders and put all these ink pads. Yes, absolutely.
It frames the artwork as well, doesn't it?
It really frames the artwork, yeah, absolutely. So just bringing that in, and you can see, I mean, look how beautiful that now looks.
That's lovely.
So let's pop those to the side, pop all our bits out the way. There we go. And then just make sure I've got all my colours. And then let's bring in all these pieces. So this one's already dry, so you can see I've done very similar to there. You get different results every single time, which I absolutely love. So if you want more ink, you lay more ink down. You can also, if you want more areas like this, do that same effect again and pick it up again, and you just get that really nice background on there. So we're going to use this just to make our card up. So while I'm making it, Debbie, do you want to ask any of those questions?
Well, I'm going to say a few hellos, and then we'll ask that question that came through, because I'm conscious a lovely, excuse me, Susie sent through all the good mornings and everything through. So we've got, now then, let me just go back a bit, Debbie, because there we go. Vanessa from the US says, good morning, everyone from Florida. Jill Craft from, says hi from North Yorkshire, although it's always that Lilge Craft It's just that it's Jill backwards. I've met Jill a few times and she's a lovely, lovely lady. So she's from the North Yorkshire, so she says good afternoon. Shadaya says, good morning, Fab Debbie and Debbie Ms. McGiggles. Hello again, she said. Caroline Handley here from the UK. Hi, everyone from the Isle of Man. Happy crafting. Mary Beth Doyle is joining us from Minnesota. Jane Adams is from Las Vegas and says hello. Donna Yam is from Florida and says good morning. Keep forgetting it's morning over in the US. Our lovely Lois is on. She says, good morning, everyone from Ohio. Kay Zizek, I think that is. Good morning from a sunny North Carolina. We've got Phil Watson, Nanny to the Girls, Bubble and Squeak, afternoon, Debbie and the team. Alicia Gordon says, hello, Debbie and Debbie. I keep forgetting it's the double Debbies, the double Ds today.
Double Ds today.
And, she says, your dress and blouse is beautiful. So I've been admiring Debbie's lovely dress that she's got on and vice versa. So thank you very much for all of that as well. Polly Newsom says, good morning from Midland, Texas. Rhonda Crowley's Creations on YouTube says, good morning to the dynamic Debs. Debses. Team Social, CTV crew and all my crafty friends from a dreary, rainy, chilly Oak Park near Chicago. Rhonda, we're with you. It's very drab and dreary outside here up at Newton Aycliffe today. BJ Clark on YouTube. Good morning from Oysterville, Washington, I think that says. A beautiful day at the beach. Ooh, Debbie.
Nice.
I keep dreaming, you know, I'm having holiday blues big time. I keep imagining that I'm back on that beach.
You had a lovely holiday, didn't you?
We've got Wendy Graham on YouTube saying hello to everyone. Lynn Morton's one that's asked the question, Deb, so I'm going to come back to that in a minute because there's Stephanie Theodos, Beverly Bryant, Shadaya again is saying that that's a beautiful background, Debbie. Evelyn's on, Betsy's on, Deborah Spencer's on as well, and Lisa says, I have all your ink pads, I love them. The question that I've got asked though, Debbie, is about the water reactive ink pads. Lynn has said, so if these are water reactive ink pads, why have they got a blending brush on the lid and not a paintbrush?
Because they are an ink pad.
Yes.
Yes. So, yeah, the reason being is because the main thing with any ink pad is stamping and blending.
Yes.
That's what you would normally have with your ink pad. So to tell a beginner crafter she's suddenly got to paint with these, I think would be giving the wrong message.
Yes.
What we're saying is this is what you need to start off with, and then the extra things that you can do afterwards are the things that come with there. Would you agree with that, Debbie?
Absolutely, absolutely, because they are meant for like your distressing, your blending, you can still stamp with them. You've just seen some great ways Debbie has just used them. Very versatile ink pad. But if we did put a paintbrush on the front, it would totally throw someone off. We've made it simple. I say we. The royal we there.
The royal we.
Leanne, the genius behind it all, because literally wanted to simplify ink pads. The one thing when I was in store, Debbie, before our ink pads came out, was the questions we got asked the most was, what's the right one to use with water? What's the right one to use with alcohol?
Yep.
What do you use to distress it? So confusing, and everything were too confusing. We used to have a list in store so that we could direct the customer to it. Whereas Leanne's thought about it from a crafter's perspective and just simplified it.
Yes.
And stuck on the front there your actual ink dauber, your blending brush, whatever it is that you want to call it, to enable you to create. And look at that gorgeous card you've just made with that, Debbie.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I've tried to do with the ink pads is show you all those different ways of being able to do them. So not just that dry blending that we did on that piece of card, but to actually do the wet on wet technique, to blend around the edges, to do that splodgy background, to flick your inks on top of it. You can also stamp with these and draw the colour out with a brush as well. They really are the most versatile inks. So I think if ever there was an ink pad you wanted to get and you didn't know where to start, the water reactives for me are the ones that you start with.
Yes, absolutely. And that is a beautiful make, Debbie. Absolutely gorgeous make. And again, just showing you how incredibly versatile they are. So I hope that answered your question for you, Lynn. Fire those questions in. I have noticed the questions are quite quiet So if there's a question you want to ask, or if you've been sat there watching, please do just drop a comment onto YouTube or Facebook, and our Susie will send it through to the studio. And don't forget as well to send your pictures into us as well. Now we're going to take a short break. We're going to let our lovely Debbie is going to have a little bit of a little tidy up, because we're going to move on to the next ink pad for you. So please do join us after the break. We've got a little bit of a video here for you on how to shop. Was that, Charlotte? How to check out. So if you are shopping, go and have a little look at this.
Hi, I'm Ben from Crafters TV. As you may know, we've just launched an amazing new website, our new home of papercraft to house all of your crafty needs. And as we've had a bit of a makeover, I'm here today to help you add those crafty goodies to your basket and check out. So, what are we waiting for? Let's get started. First, head on over to the Crafters Companion homepage. Select the correct geographical location at the top of the page. Next, log into your My Crafters account. Explore the site and products using the navigation bar at the top of the screen. When you find the product you want, add to your basket by clicking the Add to Basket button. You'll then have the option to view your basket or continue shopping. If you want to check out, click View Your Basket. Here you can see the list of items you've added along with the order summary on the right-hand side of the screen. This is also where you'll see your loyalty discount. And just remember, the price you're seeing at this stage is excluding any delivery charges. This will also be your opportunity to add any discount codes you may have. Simply type in the code, hit apply, and if your code is valid, you should see the correct amount of discount deducted from your order total. Once you're happy to go ahead with your order, click the Proceed to Checkout button in the summary box on the right-hand side of your screen. If you want to use ShopPay, PayPal or Google Pay, you can select the relevant option under Express Checkout and you'll be given instructions on how to check out. If you have a gift card, you can enter the code on the right-hand side of the screen and press Apply. You should see the correct amount of discount deducted from your total. If you'd like to pay by card, the details linked to your account should appear in the relevant fields. If these aren't showing, you'll need to fill out the correct details. When you've entered your payment information, click the Continue to Shipping button at the bottom of the screen. Select your preferred shipping option, click Continue to Payment. Here you can enter your card details or select ShopPay, PayPal or ClearPay. Next, make sure the correct billing address is entered under the billing address section, or if this is the same as your shipping address, then you'll have the option to select it. Click Pay Now, and that's it. You'll be taken to a thank you page with an order number, and you'll also receive a confirmation email with the details of your crafty purchase, which will be on its way to you very soon.
Welcome to the new home of Papercraft. Our brand new Crafters Companion website is here and I know you're going to absolutely love it. Now, you guys, our crafting community, are at the heart of everything we do here. So this new site has been built with you in mind because we want you to have the best possible experience with us. So, as well as a fresh new look, we've made our new website faster, smoother, and so much easier to browse, shop, and find fabulous creative inspiration. Find exactly what you're looking for in no time at all with our improved search function. And our super speedy new checkout system makes online shopping a total breeze. Everything is optimized to work perfectly on your mobile as well, so you can snap up the latest collections wherever you are. And to really spoil you, we're celebrating with 20% off across the whole site. So what are you waiting for? Head over today to explore the new home of Papercraft. Are you ready to find your sparkle? Well, grab your dancing shoes because we are going all out for our 18th birthday. Join us from the 9th to the 22nd of October to shine brighter than a disco ball. Everyone's invited, so shimmy on over to the new Crafters Companion website and get ready for the hottest party in town.
laughing at that? we hadn't seen that before, have we? That was the first time parents has just seen it, and Debbie went, "Oh, look at me doing the twirl! I forgot I did that." And I didn't have, because I had to film a very quick segment because my photo shoots tomorrow.
That's what I was thinking, because you said you hadn't, and I was just about to say,
and
but
it's
you're on there, Debbie.
because it should have been last week and it got cancelled then because the lady who does the photo shoot, Celebrity Jodie, was off. So she said, "Can you do it this Friday?" I said, "Oh yeah, absolutely." And then they said to me, "We need you to do a little segment because you're the ball that's missing." All the balls were there, apart from that one at the bottom, and I weren't in it. And I'm like, "I've got a blinking leopard print dress on. It's not a sparkly. It'll be fine, you'll not see it." I saw it all.
But it's bright pink and it's lovely. I have to tell you, when I did that turn, it was really good. I did it first time and I was like, "Oh my God, I turned perfectly." I don't know how I managed it. I'll never be able to do it again.
I was going to say, Debs, I'm just going to put it out there right now. Jodie, if you're watching, don't ask me to do a turn. I'll fall over. I'm just getting used to these glasses, and I'm going to fall over if I have to do a twirl. But yeah, loads of lovely comments coming in, Debs, about your gorgeous card that you made. Rebecca Williams on YouTube, she said she's getting so inspired. Jane Adams says, "Lovely card." Jill says it's a lovely card. Shania says, "Nice, clean and simple, always dramatic and the best. Thanks, Debbie." Mary Beth Doyle has put, "Great looking glasses, Debbie. Thank you very much." Just getting used to them, that's all.
They are very nice. I like them.
Thank you. A bit of Kylie. Kylie inspired. There are other glass companies out there, but yeah. I have another question for you though from Sheila Swift Heap on
we like
YouTube.
questions.
Debbie, she's put, "Good afternoon, both Debbies. Loving the demos today and the Inkpad knowledge." She's put, "Which Inkpad would I use for a permanent ink, please?"
For a permanent ink, so which is your alcohol markers. So that would be your Vanessa alcohol-proof ink pads.
Lovely, thank you. Again, lovely card, very pretty card, Debbie. Thank you, says Lois. Samantha Cheney on YouTube said, "Good morning." We've got a few more joining us. My Fibro Disney Journey says, "Good afternoon from Barnsley, South Yorkshire." Another Barnsley girl.
Barnsley.
Whoop, whoop.
Barnsley.
Did you notice I went, really? Normally I say I'm from Barnsley. Barnsley. That's how we say it. Barnsley. So good afternoon to you as well. And Michelle Vale on YouTube says, "Good morning from a cloudy Maine." We are going to move on though. This is Craft Your Stash. If you've noticed, there's nothing at the side of us. There's nothing telling you on this side, Debbie, this side. Nothing this side telling you what you need to go. You can head over and you'll see all the colours that we've got. We've got some nice little bundles on there, about £30, $30, roughly around that, on certain ink pads. You can go and check those out. Now, we've covered water reactive. We're going to move on to the next ones that came into the family of the Harmony, which is all about the quick dry. So I'm going to throw it straight over to our Debbie. Who's going to inspire you a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. So before I get into that first demo, I want to take that piece. So this is where we work in conjunction with our ink pads. I took that, do you remember me doing that inky background where I used the orange, the red and the yellow? Now, I was telling you about the same colour families. So I've got the honey pot, the Chinese red and the orange, which is what I've done with. Now, you can then stamp your quick drying over your water reactive and you get the most amazing effect. I know, it's very good, Debbie. You wait till you see it. I'm hoping this is going to blow our Debbie's mind because I know she loves her ink pads, but you wait till you see this. It's just a really nice one that I love doing. What was that?
You were getting heckled by the lorry.
Oh, I thought that was you.
No, I didn't go. That weren't me. It was the lorry behind. You know, we've got the truckers.
Yeah, and I normally can hear that, but because I heard it from your direction, I thought it was you. And I thought, why did she highlight that? Craig did it yesterday, though, didn't he?
I've cut out all my fizzy pops, so there's none of that noise that's coming from me at the
Craig
minute.
had a proper burp on
Oh, he
it
did? Did you hear him?
Yes.
He put it all over his socials. It were really loud to me. I don't know where it came from. No, it wasn't me, Debs. It was the lovely little truckers behind us.
That's what she's telling us. Right, so my honey pot I've put onto my ink pad and I'm just going to tap it on again just so it's still there. And I'm going to actually go on to my honey pot as well. So look at this.
Do you know, I keep
So nice.
forgetting about this, Debs.
Because when you blend your colours, you then don't want to go back on with a water reactive ink pad. So you want your quick drying, because not only do they dry really quick, so it's not going to smudge, and we can then do the same. So in fact, let's use the orange because we've got more orange here. So I'm not worried about still having that ink on there. We're just going to tap that orange over the top, and then we can do the same with that one as well. So just pop in that, look at that, I mean, so amazing. Now the other thing as well, let me bring in this stencil. If you have a stencil, you could do the same thing. So bring in your ink daubers. I'm going to use some clean ones here. So we've got sort of orange on this side, so let's bring in sort of the orange and tap through. Just to get, I don't want anything too much, I just want to tap that through, and because it's quick drying, it means it will dry really quickly. And then we're just going to bring in a yellow, and let's bring in our honey pot as well. Oh, that's the orange, that's the honey pot, and we're just going to tap that through as well, just to get that beautiful ombre effect throughout there. So even with your stencils, you can then just go in over, and then you bring, look at that. It's beautiful. Oh, it's red there, that's why. So if I put that back, I don't know if we can do that. Let's pop that back, and let's get the red instead. So that will bring in that red side. But just these are just really nice, simple techniques that you can be really creative with. So bring in the red on that side. That will just bring that out a little bit more. So when we take that off, there we go, you can see that.
That's
How
lovely.
fabulous is that? So you can be making all these different backgrounds by using both inks together, and because they're the same colour family, they're just going to work really well with them. So I was trying it out earlier. Where's my piece of card? That's this one, which you can see just trying on that ink, just going over the top. It's just really effective, isn't it?
Absolutely
so that's another
gorgeous.
way you can use your quick drying and your water reactive together. Now, when you want to use, what your quick drying inks are for is exactly what they say, quick drying.
Yeah.
It means when you stamp with them, they're going to dry really quickly. So you don't get as many different techniques, but what you can do, you can start to use them in different ways. So let's say an embossing folder. Now, because they're quick drying, it means that I can start to use, going to bring in some different colours here. I've got my green topaz. I can start to tap these onto my embossing folder. Now what I am going to do, I'm going to pop this on both sides so you can see. You can even just rub it very lightly over the top, and I'm going to pop this on both sides so you can see the deboss and the embossed side. So very carefully we're just going to go over the top of this one, round here, and bring out that beautiful pattern, which is just on one of our textured embossing folders. And then we're just going to bring that in, pop our card on the inside, close that on top, and then we can run, oh, I say I can run it through, I haven't got my machine. I didn't think I was using my machine, but I do have it, it's just down here. So let me just bring it up to the top. Nice and simple, make sure we can, no, it's not turned on. Oh, perhaps I haven't even turned on my electricity, Debbie.
Let me come and turn that on for you. No, you won't, it's not switched on.
Yeah, it's not even switched on. I thought I don't need it today, so I don't need to put it on, but let's just bring them in. So I've got a 2D embossing folder. I just need my bottom and top cutting plates, don't I? So let's bring those in, sandwich them between. Yes, we've got the power. Run that in, and what that's going to do, it's going to create what we call a letterpress technique, which will, and I wanted to show you sort of both sides because that gives a sort of different result. Sometimes the debossed is better than the embossed side, and vice versa. So we're just going to pop that down, but because it's a quick drying ink, it means it dries really quickly. So look at that, you've got that amazing technique on there, and then if I turn it over, you've got a slightly different, although it looks very similar, doesn't it, on both sides. It's probably not the best embossing folder to show you that technique on, but you can also blend over. So blend in your ink pads. Let me just find one that I can blend with, just like so. So you can literally just still blend these around. You don't have to worry that they quick dry in. You can still get that blend in. They just don't blend into each other like our water reactives or our pigment ink pads, but it means that you can still get that beautiful result by blending over the top. So you're just going to keep going, building up your colour on the background there. So that's one of the things that you can still do with your ink, your quick drying. The other thing we want to do is our layering stamps. We haven't done any for quite a while, have we, Debbie?
No, do you know, I was trying to think the last time when we brought a layering stamp out, and I think it was one of Sarah's collections. I think it's one of the flower collections that we did. You know, they were flowering and it layered up, and I don't know if it was the Say It With Flowers one or if it was one previous to that. It's been a while since we've done some.
Yeah, absolutely. But when we do them, there are ones. So I'm using this one. It was our Violet Roses. So this was the one that had the sentiments through the middle of them.
Yes, I remember those.
So I had that. And actually, this butterfly one, this is part of a layering one as well.
Yes, it is. Yes.
But I love the middle section of this butterfly.
Yeah.
So I use that one all the time. But that's got 3 layers as well on it, which is perfect. But before I found my butterfly, I had this one. And with your layering stamps, any layering stamps, lots of companies do layering stamps. What you're going to do to start off with, so I'm going to make sure I know where, and in fact what I will do, I'm going to bring my cardstock down to my bottom of my emblem there, and that way I know exactly where I can layer on the grid my stamp. And what I mean by that is I want to place this where I can stamp it and know where I'm going to layer down from. So let me turn that round. So I've laid it from the bottom here. I'm going to take this one from, let's do it 2 in from there. Yes, let's do it 2 in from that one. And I'm going to place this square bit, because what you'll find is with any layering stamps, it will have a little tiny square piece, and you want to lay your stamps in the same position every time. So once I've stamped that one, you've got your number 2 here. That same little square piece on here will go in that same place. So we would pop that onto there. So what it means is when I then come to stamp down, so you can see, although I'm going to move my papers up because that doesn't really matter. There we go. Let's just move that in. It's just about knowing where I'm positioning my stamp. Up a little bit more. That will do. That will absolutely do. I'm not going to worry too much about it. And then the first thing I want to do is I'm going to use that pink, which is right in front of me, and we're just going to, and actually this was a question I had the other day, Debbie, about your stamps getting dyed.
Yes, stained.
Yes, so it's likely that when you're using quick dry, especially your purples and your pinks, it will dye your, these are not, it doesn't wash out, it literally dyes them. It's not going to affect your stamps at all, so the actual, them working are going to be absolutely fine.
Yeah.
So don't worry about them staining. And I'm sure you'll find your own stamps. This is really just a demo that if you do have layering stamps or layering stencils, you can layer over the top of them. And I can go straight in and rub that, and that's not going to smudge or go anywhere else.
That's what I love about them, Debs, the quick dry.
They're so good for that, aren't they? Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And then I know that I'm going to go 2 up from that one, so we're going to pop that one into place again, just onto there. Pop that down, and this time we're going to go in with a different colour. So I'm going to go in with my, I had a purple and it's disappeared, there it is. So let's go in with our crushed velvet, and we're going to stamp on top of those. It's nice when you do shows like this, Debbie, because it suddenly makes you realise how you miss mixing your inks up and how to use them and that, and it's just such a fun way. So you can see we've layered right in between all those crevices, which look fabulous. And then our next one we're going to go in, that will do our number 3, which is this one here, and then that's going to be our foliage. So again, where that piece is on here, we're going to move that to exactly the same place onto there, lay that down, and this time I'm going to bring in my green topaz, and we're going to ink that one up. So that's going to fill the gaps. can't see. I'm so used to seeing the purple and the pink. Now I put green on, it doesn't look like any colours coming out. And then we're just going to pop that on, and then that's going to do our middle sections. Like so. Can you see that I'm going to do that again just purely because I think this ink pad has probably been used more than the others.
Yeah.
So we're just going to do another one on there. Because we've got the precision of our stamping platform, we know that that's going to stamp in exactly the same place and give us that amazing detail coming through. So the actual stamp, can you see?
That's
we're
lovely.
starting to come here. How beautiful does that look? And then all we're going to do, I'm going to pop my lids back on so I know I've got them in the right place. We've also, with this collection, you don't need to see me do it, but you've actually got a little, I'm using the baby blue, and you've actually got a stencil, I think it's in here, which you stencil through. Put it the right way, yeah, just there. In fact, let's do it rather than me saying it. Let's just find the blue. So we're just going to go in with the baby blue. And I can still do that with the quick drying, and literally just tapping that in, just to bring in that blue in the centre and give that sort of border. And then you've got sentiments that are in your stamp set. Look at that, and it looks pretty, doesn't it? You forget how lovely these stamps are.
Yeah.
Apologies, because they're not stamps we have in at the moment, but I just wanted to show you and refresh. It's about crafting our stash, so you'll have them in your collection.
Yeah, well, like the shadow, do you remember the shadow ones that we did with the...
oh, yes,
they're
yes,
like a layering one,
they're
that you can use
layerable
quick
ones, yeah,
dries,
absolutely. So that gives you that one, and then all I've done is use my die cut, my torn edge die cut, and I've just literally popped that on a piece of round one, and then another one for matte and layering. So we've got that piece. And then I want to show you something else, because even though these are quick drying, you can actually use them to ink up your die cut shapes. So if I just bring that one in again, let's just bring in a green topaz, and we can literally start to ink these up. I mean, if you wanted to, you could take them straight onto your pad, which would give it a much darker, deeper effect.
Yeah.
But, you know, you just need to use your ink applicators and just ink them up. And that way you get that amazing foliage of the same shade as what you've stamped in, so you know that they're going to work. Keep inking that up. I think I'd perhaps use the darker, the lagoon, not the lagoon. What's the next one up from that one? Green topaz and... Oh,
Frosty Jade?
No, Frosty Jade's the light one.
Is that the light one? So Frosty Jade, green topaz, and...
I keep wanting to say lagoon, but it's not lagoon.
No,
green topaz.
Oh, what's it called?
I'm going to cheat and have a look. Smoked emerald. Smoked emerald. So I've used the smoked emerald to do the others. So if I bring these in where I've done my embossing folder, so we've literally got our background. We've got then our smoked emerald leaves, which are going to tone in. I've then got our sections to put in. So we're just going to build these up onto a card and get these in, get these put onto the card. And then our next ones we're coming to are our pigment ink pads, which are my absolute favourites. So pop that
Every time I talk about the Opaque pigment dabs, I always mention you, because they are your favourite ink pads. We love them all because they all work in harmony with each other. And they all do a different job, but we do tend to have a little bit of a favourite.
Do you have a favourite, Debbie?
So I always loved my water reactives, and then the duets came along, and I love the duet ink pads.
Right.
I love them because of all the different things that you can do with them. And it was only when I was doing a class at Chesterfield that I realised just how versatile they were, and I absolutely love them. Unfortunately, we don't have that bundle anymore. We do have individuals that you can go and get with the duet ink pads, which are a hybrid ink. They're a cross between the water reactive and a little bit of the pigment in there as well.
So do you know what's really strange is that actually they're the ink pads I know the least about.
Oh, I love them. Debs, absolutely love them. Leanne taught me so many things. I watched Leanne's shows, and I absolutely think they're just so versatile. They are possibly one of my favourites. Although I say that, Debbie, I'm not going to lie, I love the Shimmer ink pads. I love those because of that
yeah, I like the Shimmer
gorgeous
ones.
finish. I love them all. I'm going to say, because it's a little bit like asking you to pick your favourite child, isn't it, when it comes to the ink pads? And I love them all. I really love them all because of the different jobs that they do. That's why I have a favourite with them all.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. So, yeah, I love them all for the reasons that I'm showing you, because of their versatility and what you can do with them. And actually, as much as I say that the pigments are my favourites, which they are, if I was to tell anyone to choose a set to buy, it would always be the water reactives.
Yes.
And maybe now the duets, because they would do the same thing. It's that dual function, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you can still heat emboss with them, you can still blend with them, you can still do your watercolouring with them, which actually blows my mind a little bit, because of the amount of things that you can do with them.
And they've got that lovely chalky-like finish texture to them as well, and because of that water, do you know the oxidisation process that they talk about when you chuck the water down?
Yeah.
Oh, Debs, honestly, they blow my mind every time I use them. Absolutely love them. Love, 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 love them.
Yeah, I need to use them more. It's the one we're not showing them today, actually. It's because I wanted to go back to basics, and we would never have got through them all if I then brought in the duets as well.
Yeah.
But they're amazing Inkpads, but I just don't know the full extent of what I can do with them yet. So, yeah, even I'm not clued up on that yet, Debbie. So you can see I've just cut that tiny bit off, because I just wanted to create something a little bit different and just put it against there.
That looks lovely.
Yeah, it's really pretty, isn't it? Because we've got our sentiment, so it says, "My life is better with you in it." So that's really nice, isn't it? And then all I'm going to do is use my dotty tape pen, and we're just going to pop this onto our card. So let's just use these.
Susie T's just piped up saying that she loves her metallic ink pads.
Oh, yes, I like metallics as well. I have to. In fact, I like anything metallic, I have to be honest.
Yes.
I love our metallic pens. Yeah, everything, just beautiful. Yeah, the metallic ink pads are nice as well.
I don't know what this means, Debbie, but Carol Anley on Facebook says you two are worse than Ben and Craig together. I mean, I don't know what they mean. I've absolutely no idea.
I think that's your loud noises you were making over there, Debbie.
And Rosalind Russell's put the double D giggle train has gone off the rails. That was early, yeah, definitely. I have got a couple of questions though as well, Debs, but I'm just going to watch you finish this, and then we'll ask you those questions at the end, because this looks gorgeous. And all done with the quick dry?
Absolutely, yeah, everything's done with that quick drying, yeah, from our foliage to the backgrounds and to stamping with it. So, yeah, there you go.
Love that.
So even though we think of quick drying as just a one-trick pony, really, because you just stamp it, actually they are so much more. You can do so much more with them, including our stamping the same colour on the top as well. So
yes,
we bring that
love
one in.
that.
Yeah, it's almost like a shadow stamping, isn't it? So
do you know, I genuinely completely forgot about that technique.
Yeah.
So you've just refreshed my memory with that one. Absolutely love that. So that's beautiful.
And actually, the other thing, just so while I've got this in me as well, is talking about ghost stamping. I don't know if anyone's ever tried ghost stamping. So it's the same technique, but you just spritz your stamp with water. So then when you press on top of it, it faux bleaches that pattern into it as well. So it's another thing you can do with it. It's just so many things that you can do, but only so many things that we can fit into a couple of hours.
Exactly it. That's exactly it. But that's why we do have all these shows, and I'm loving this Craft Your Stash kind of show format that we're doing today to get this inspiration. Even I've been inspired there to try something that I haven't done for a while. A couple of questions, Debs. Deanna G on YouTube says, on Debbie's card, now I'm not sure which card you're meaning, but she says, did you use a white gel marker to make the white lines around the centre? Was that from your first card or your second, Debs?
Well, I've lost my first card. What have I, oh, it's this one. Oh, no. So you've obviously come into it mid. So it's what we call a wet on wet. So it's a white heat embossed line.
Ah, yes.
Yes, so what it was, it's a stamp. So the white lines are the stamp. You stamp it with a translucent ink pad, and then you add either white embossing powder or clear embossing powder, and that creates what we call a resist technique, and it creates those white lines. So no, it's not a white gel pen, it's actually stamped and then heat embossed.
Love that. Love, love, love that. So thank you very much. This next question, Anna Gosling-Smith asks, it's for me. So it's a question I'll ask myself, because she's put, Debbie, the other day someone asked Sheena about stamping in reverse, which she said it wasn't her, but I'm sure it was your special trick from the last Craft Your Stash show. If there's time for it, please. Well, I'm not on that side today, but the reverse one is when you use your silicone mat. So I did do that technique. I did that on a Craft Your Stash. I think it might have been a stamping show. And I use the Natural Beauty stamps to reverse the image by stamping onto the silicone mat, then popping your paper over the top and either braying or just braying. That sounds like a real Yorkshire saying, braying. That's a fighting talk, that, braying. A brayer over the top, or just smooth it over with your hand. And there was a technique that I did, sorry Nick, sorry Charlotte, getting my Barnsley talk out there. But yes, that is a technique that you can do with the silicone mixed media mat, or any silicone. You can buy silicone like your gel plates and things like that other companies do, but we've got a perfectly good mixed media mat that you can do that technique with, and I absolutely did that. If Debbie doesn't get time to show you today, I'll probably try and squeeze one of those in. I've got some stamps on my tomorrow's Colour Me Happy show, and I'll squeeze it in there for your Hannah, so you can tune in there, because I know Debs has got so many other techniques, and I don't want to throw that one over to her when she's got so much more she wants to show you. Oh, Susie T, am I allowed to read this one out?
Well, are you just going to, Debbie?
Well, I'm going to, because I don't know what, because I've been away as well. I'm not sure what's been shared, but she said she's so excited for the new metallic tricolour pens, Debbie.
Yes, they've been on HSN and they've been on QVC, so they're late coming to us, but they're coming. They're absolutely coming, yes.
Ooh, I'm excited because I haven't seen those. Can't wait for that one. Susan Griffith says, Debbie, that's such a gorgeous card. Thank you for all the technique reminders. Good afternoon, says Jean Prescott on YouTube. She's put, good afternoon, what a great show. And Barbara Satterley on YouTube says, I love this format. So do we. So do we. And we are going to move. Are we going to move on, or are we going to give Debs a little break or two? I thought I was going to say I better check in with you guys.
Just
look at me, producing and directing from the floor, at it again. You see, they give me a bit of power by sending me over this end, Debs. I think I'm in control of everything now. But no, we're going to throw over to our lovely Debs, because we've talked all things water reactive. We've talked all things quick dry, and Debs has shown you lots of lovely techniques that you can be doing as well. But I think the next ones they're going to move on to, which I know she's super excited about, is because these are Debbie's favourites, and these are our, I love these, our Opaque Pigment ink pads. However, I've been told there's some pictures coming in, Debs.
Oh, I love that.
Let's throw in these pictures. Liz Remmer, oh my goodness. Now that looks like a water reactive background. That looks absolutely beautiful. And I love her choice in the design that she's done there. That is absolutely gorgeous, Liz. And, oh, Liz, you have been busy. Oh, I love that one as well. That again looks like a water reactive, but I love the stamps. Is it a duet? Actually, you're right, producer Nicola. I think that is a duet, because it's got a little bit more of a chalkier finish. And look at that gorgeous background and that lovely stamp. They were the stamps that I saw Leanne chop up.
Oh, I know.
She just got some scissors and started chopping away. And she said that Sheena told her she could do it.
Yeah.
That's what I heard on the grapevine. But yeah, they're beautiful, Liz. Thank you so much for sending in your beautiful pictures there. Two gorgeous work of arts there. And honestly, that's why we've asked you to send them in, so you can share your inspiration as well. And talking of inspiration, the lovely lady herself, our gorgeous Debbie, is going to show you why you need the Opaque Pigment. Nicola, we just done the quick dry. But yeah, seriously, we're going to move on to Debbie's favourite ink pads, which are our Opaque Pigment ink pads. Debbie, let's fire away with these ones, because I know they are your favourites.
Absolutely. I do love them. In fact, let me just show you the difference in them. So I just want a quick drying and a normal one. So let's just move those to the side, because I want to show you the difference in the actual materials that they're on. So the water reactive, that's this one here. Let's bring that down. And then we've got our quick drying, and then we've got our pigment ink pad. Now, the lemon tonic here, which is the water reactive, it's a really dense foam, so it's very hard. You can see there's no sponginess in that at all. That's really dense because it needs to be able to get what we need out of it. The quick drying is still a felt, but it's actually more of a spongy felt. So you can actually do more of your stamping techniques with this one, which is why the quick drying and layering up is better. But with your pigment, this is very different. I'm not even going to prod it like I was with the lid because it will go everywhere. This is a sponge, and it's really spongy and really juicy. And the reason being is this one is a natural source. It's a pigmented ink pad. It means the pigment are big particles, so it needs something spongy to hold all those pigment particles in. Where these ones are dye-based, so you've got dyes in there which are not a natural form, which is why if you ever get your different ink pads and you're wondering why there's a different texture to them, the pigment I love, because what it means is these ones absorb into your cardstock. So when you apply that to your cardstock, it will start to absorb. These ones lay on top of your cardstock. They don't absorb into your cardstock because they are a pigment, so it makes them opaque. So it makes them layerable as well, so you can layer darker colours onto other darker colours and get that true colour of what's in there. They're also the most truest colour of what you get in your ink pad on that foam base as well. So that's why I love about these, because they're opaque, they're pigmented, they're not going to fade either. It takes a long time to fade. So if you've got a card that's on your front of your windowsill for ages, the colour is going to stay true to that because it won't fade, because it is a natural source. It also means, because the colour sits on top of your ink pad, it means that it takes longer to dry, and that then means that we can bring in our heat techniques as well. But the blendability of these and that opaqueness gives them a chalky finish, which is a different colour to what you would find in your same colour families as these, because it gives that opaqueness. So that's the difference with those, and I'm going to show you a few different things of what you can do with them. So the first thing I want to do, I'm bringing in one of our macro folders. I love these folders. They're just absolutely beautiful, and I'm just going to pop this through so you can see the effect that this gives. I haven't got my machine up on the top. I thought I'd just leave it down under here and send those through and have that out. So looks like I'm doing nothing but standing here. And then let's take that one out. That's going to give us that beautiful impression. Look at that. So they're so lovely, those folders.
Beautiful.
Now, what I want to do with this time though, I want to use my ink pad, and we're going to do a little bit of dry brushing. So if you take your ink pad, and we're going to pop that onto our glass mat, I'm literally going to pick some of this up and just pop some colour like this down. Now, you can water it down because it is something you can still do with these, but I actually like the fact that you can just do this sort of effect and just keep building up that colour, which looks really cool. The other thing is you could take your ink pad and literally just place it down. So that's going to give you your most amount of colour. So can you see, just doing that sweeping motion, just creating that colour. So whether you want a dry brush and get a lighter colour, or you just want to add this colour by sweeping motions over the top, it's just going to create a really beautiful effect. I quite like using our ink pads directly to the cardstock. I think you get really unique, different amounts of sort of colour on them. And you can see just how pretty that one is. So that's one of the things you can do. So it's your dry blending, dry brushing, whatever you want to do with that one. Then the next thing I want to do is they're not absolutely intended for, but you can create background washes with them as well. But before I do that, let's do some of what we know we want to see, and that is our, we're going to stencil through, and then we're going to create a heat embossed effect. So I'm just going to get rid of that first, so we can take that away. So even though these are pigments, you can still paint with these as well. So what we're going to do with this one, I want to create a border down one piece. So because we've got our stencil, now this is our dotted stencil. I don't know if I've got the full packet, but it came out with our glitter pastes. So if you wanted to find it, you'll be able to find it. So I'm just going to pop that onto there. So just having that straight line. I'm using my glass mat to show me where that border is. So there we go. And then I'm just going to use my low tack tape to put a little bit of tape down that edge. So let's just pop that onto there to keep that in place. And then I'm going to bring my ink daubers in again. So we've got our purple, I've got my lagoon, and I've got my parakeet. So two amazing colours, which I absolutely love there, or three, should I say. And then we're just going to put some different dots on here. So I'm going to start off with my lightest colour. So let's start off with the parakeet. And I'm literally just going to pop that through those edges.
That is, Debs.
So nice, isn't it? I love stencils. Love them. I just think there's nothing nicer than doing your own backgrounds and creating that beautiful ombre effect. And then we're going to go in with a darker one. So bringing that in. So toning that down. And I'm making sure, I mean, these are quite juicy ink pads, but I'm making sure I'm putting plenty through. So popping that down. And then we're going to finish with that purple. So let's pop my lids back on there. And then use that purple. So these are all quite, what I think are quite bright, striking colours. So popping that through. Actually, looking at this, I probably would have been better with my, what's the plum? No, not plum. God, I can't believe I'm forgetting my names of my ink pads.
So is that the crushed velvet?
Yeah, this is crushed velvet. What's the next one up?
The next
Plum?
one up is the
Damson wine.
Damson
That's the
wine.
one. Yeah, it's just not coming to me as quick as normal. Nor I know all the names of the ink pads. So
I'm like that, Debs.
on.
It's my greys that I always get confused with. Do you know the anthracite and...
Yes.
I always get so confused with the right colour family there.
Yes.
That's why at home they're all in order. Won't be tired anybody who comes in and uses my ink pads and starts mucking about with them.
I've been trying to get them into an order in the studio.
It's no point, Debs. Me and Jan have tried it. It don't work.
Well, I did it last week.
Did you? Is it still all right?
I've only done 2 and they seem to be in the same place.
Fabulous.
Oh,
look at that.
Ah, so beautiful. Now, because they're laying on the top of our of the surface of our card, it means that ink will stay wetter for longer. So what I'm going to grab now is our clear embossing powder. And this is definitely the one thing that I absolutely love about these inks, is the fact that you can heat emboss. And it just looks incredible every single time. I just don't think you can go wrong with heat embossing. It's one of those wow factors of crafts. It's how a lot of people started crafting, because it's such an amazing thing to do, and just a really clever concept. So just tapping that off, so we've got all of that. You can see it's doled it down because it's added a coating of our powder. So anyone that's not heat embossed, what I would say is go for our pigment ink pads and go for a big tub of just clear embossing powder. And that way, instead of buying all your different colours in embossing powder, you've got them all with your ink pads and just your clear one, which is it's a much cheaper way to go. Once we've done that, we're going to again get our heat tool out and we're going to just heat this up. So it's a case of having your heat tool, and then we're just going to place that directly to our card, and it heats up quite quickly. I don't know about you, Debbie. I know a lot of people say get your tool up to temperature, but it heats up very quickly.
It's very fast, our tool.
Yeah, I've never really got the heat.
Take a long time at all.
It doesn't take time at all.
A few seconds, and it is at optimum needs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it is just a case of hovering over until you start to see it turn, and literally just that a second and a half longer, and then it really melts that powder into that colour. And it's just beautiful. Now I'm only doing one layer, but we can do what you call a triple embossed effect, which is one of my favourite things to do, although I think you should do that. In fact, I think we could do that on the next part, because you need to do it on a smaller surface.
Yes.
Because this bit up here is already cooling down, and to be able to do a triple emboss, you need to keep it still warm, so your embossing powder will cling to that surface still.
Yeah.
So once you've done that, that creates that amazing background. So we've got that there, and you see, just absolutely
Oh, you can see that lovely
beautiful.
gloss.
So lovely, isn't it? So
Yeah,
amazing.
beautiful.
Now, the next thing I want to do is, because now what I've done is, even though we've heat embossed, I've created a resist technique, which means we can still then paint a background. And that's where we can then bring our inks back in and create that amazing background. So what I am going to do is bring in those same colours. So we've got our purples and our blues. I'm not sure if I'm going to need the, I can't remember now if I've done that one, but we're just going to pop this onto here. And then I'm just going to pop that purple on as well. I think you can tell this one's been used a lot more.
I think it's everyone's favourite go-to colour.
Absolutely, I
Crushed
think
velvet.
it is, yeah. And then let's just put a little bit of the lagoon on there. And then I'm going to come in with a flat brush. So let's use my flat brush. And we're just going to pick that up. So we're going to take our purple to start with. So even though it's a pigment, we can still bring all that purple in, and we're just going to give a colour wash over the top. Just like so. So we're going to do our purple at the top there. Let's give that brush a clean. And then we're going to do the same with, I'm using, this is watercolour cardstock as well. And then we're going to pick the blue up. But the vibrancy in the pigments is just, it's just incredible. And then we're mixing a different colour then with the purple and the pink. It's making that more sort of bluey colour in there. So just bringing that in. But we're still getting that vibrancy of these dots still, which is amazing. So take that one away, and then all I want to do is I'm going to pick up some more of that pink so we can blend that a bit more into here. That's better. So if you don't like your blend, it's what I like about watercolour, Debbie, I don't know about you, but it's so forgiving. You can go back over it, you can dry it, you can make it look how you want it to look. And then that last little bit, we're just going to take that gorgeous, I mean, look at that rich colour, just so amazing. And we're going to go in at the base there. So really, really pretty. And the one thing we don't do a lot of with our pigment, and that is painting with them.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, Debbie, we don't, because the pigment in them is so rich that it's just gorgeous. It leaves such vibrancy on your cards. Now, when you want to faux bleach, so if anyone's not heard of faux bleaching with Inkpads, faux bleaching is something where we take the water that we put down and we suck it back out.
I like that description.
Yeah, but it really works. And even this, I mean, I would say get yourself, I'm being very wasteful, but get yourself a piece of cardstock and mop this back up, because you don't really want to waste any of this. But just for demo purposes, I want to just get rid of all my workings there. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my same heat tool, but this time I just want to dry my paper. So let's just bring that back in.
That looks beautiful, Debbie, even as it is right now.
I know, it's so nice, isn't it? So lovely. And I think we tend to stencil and then forget that we created this resist technique that we can then put our inks on top. And the vibrancy with your pigment ink pads is just incredible. But we're going to faux bleach, and faux bleaching means we sprinkle the water on, but faux bleaching on pigment colours, it takes a little bit more, but it gives a different effect. And I love the effect that you get from faux bleaching. So we're just drying this one off a little bit. Turning it round will straighten out your cardstock a little bit. So pop that down. And then all I'm going to do is take in my small brush. We're literally just going to sprinkle some water over the top. So you can, sometimes some people pick it up with their fingers and just flick. You get sort of more precision. You can tap the brush. You can do it all different ways.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work as well as water reactive. Water reactive, it's going to really suck up that colour. This doesn't. So leave it for a little bit just so it's laying on that colour. And what you'll find when you're faux bleaching with pigment ink pads, it gets stronger the longer it's left.
Yes. Yeah.
So let's just pop that over the top, because we're not going to wait too long. just pop that in, and then you can see, now you won't be able to see this, but I'll show you in a little while, that will start still working. That's because it stays wet in that pigment, it will start to work and faux bleach those out. So it's a really cool effect, but it looks very different. So I'll show you that in a bit. So let's pop that into the side. Now the last thing I want to show you on the pigment ones, let me bring in my stamping platform. Jan's not in this week, is she?
No,
Okay.
no, you're fine. You're okay, Deb, she's not in. And not until Sunday, she's in on my birthday, she's here on Sunday.
Okay, so I'll
you'll
clean
be okay.
it anyway. But I am going to use our stick and spray.
Debbie, I'm stamping tomorrow.
I always feel like a naughty little schoolgirl when I do this, because I always get told off. And Debbie, she will admit it now, she thinks it's quite a good idea.
It's actually brilliant, actually, Debbie.
So
Yes, I did
I'm
say.
literally, and I only want a little bit, so I'm only popping a little bit on. And the reason being, we have some of our fancy stamps, fancy stamps, sentiment stamp and words, dies and stamps. Get my words out there. Fancy
I'm thinking
sentiment,
fancy,
stamp and dies.
fancy. What are you fancying, Debbie, over there?
I've got them somewhere. I don't know what I've done with them. Here they are. Here they are. I'll show you what I mean. So these are our, our fancy stamps. Fancy sentiment stamps. That's what they're called. Fancy sentiment stamps. And I've already die cut. So I've die cut the word out already. And literally, I've sprayed this so then I can place this on here. If you haven't got our glue, don't worry. Just stamp it first and then die cut it out. But I've already die cut this out, and then I've got my thanks stamp. So we're going to just place that over the top so I know exactly where that is stamping into, like so. And then we're just going to grab that with our stamping platform. So pick that one up. Now what you can then do with this, we can do an ombre effect. So because I've done all these beautiful colours, I want to create that in our stamp as well. So we're going to bring in that purple, we're going to bring in that blue, there we go, and we've got our darker blue as well. And we're going to do a similar thing. So we're going to start off with, so let's start off with our end one. So we're just going to tap that into the end. It doesn't matter how much you put on or how where you put it up to, the choice is yours. And this one, I'm not worried about it going right to the end because it doesn't matter that I can put a little bit of ink onto there, that'll tap off afterwards. So we're just going to do that. Then what I'm going to do is just take my little dauber and we're just going to do this. And all that's going to do is help with blending that in, and then I'm going to do the purple as well into that blue, like so. And then when we stamp that out, that will create this beautiful ombre effect. So stamp that right into that middle. And then you can see, so this bit here, because my ink pad isn't so juicy, I'm going to just go back in with that one again. I'm not worrying about anything else. I just want that one really.
Is it that
just
crushed
to give me
velvet
extra.
again?
That is, yes. But I think I'm going to put a new ink pad on the shelf because that one just seems like it's running out a little bit. But look at that beautiful ombre effect that we've got going through there. Just such a nice way to do it. Great to have your ink applicators. So if you haven't got your ink daubers, which are your ones in your tin, they have come in not so long ago, and you will find them on the website as well. Now we're going to just take this off. I'm going to use my pokey tool just to take that from that stickiness. There we go. And then we're going to pop that onto, where was my sheet of card I had? So we're going to do another bit of heat embossing, but I'm going to see if we can do our triple embossing on this one. So let's pop that into place, like so. So once we've got that ready, I'm then going to have another piece of card ready as well. And I'll show you why in a second. In fact, we can just cut this one in half. So we've got one there, and it's because you have to work quite quickly. So what we are going to do is heat emboss this one, but I'm keeping this open, but just out of arm's reach, so we can actually pop this one into place. So I'm just making sure we keep this one, because I like to work in one time, so I like to keep my heat tool going and apply our embossing powder. So it's just a case of making sure that we go all over that surface to create with that. And then while that's still heating, I'm literally making sure that's heating. I'm then just going to aim this away and then put that down like that.
Yeah.
So that way, when then we come to taking that out, I know that's still hot enough. So I can then pop that onto that card, pop that into there, and then we can start again. So then all we're going to do is do exactly the same thing. So heating that one up, that's giving us another layer. So it's building up that enamel. So it's going to make it look ultra shiny, and then it will go ultra smooth as well. Now the reason they say triple emboss, and that is because a triple emboss is enough. It means that any more, it will start to come away from the surface and you won't get that beautiful seamless look. So you don't want to do more than 3. So just pop that one on there.
It goes from like that orange peel effect with the first one to like a crystal clear glass.
Absolutely.
By the time you get to the third one.
Yep.
It is lovely and it's worth doing it. It
It's
looks
absolutely
lovely,
worth
doesn't it?
doing, yes.
Yeah.
I'll show it to you afterwards. Oh, let me get, doesn't want to stay put, this one. Oh, it looks so amazing. Yeah, it's just beautiful. That triple emboss, it's just, there's something about it. It's just beautiful. So let that dry just for a second. Not dry, it's already dry. Let it just go cold because you don't want to be burning your fingers. And then let me show you that in the light. Can you look at that? I mean, that glass light, there we go. You can see it right there. It's just absolutely
super glossed, isn't it?
So lovely. I mean, it's just amazing. Yeah, you would never think that someone had hand done that. You'd think they took that somewhere to have that done like that. It's just beautiful. So we've got our heat embossing with our ombre effect and our heat embossing with our stencils. We've then dry embossed it over our embossing. We've created a watercolour with it as well. So lots of different things that you can sort of do. Let's bring in my card. I've got all sorts of bits here, so let me just bring these in. So I've got some, I thought I'd use a pale blue because I thought this would go really nice with the effects of our design. So we're going to pop our embossed in detail onto the front, so that's our main card topper. I've also done another effect that you can see that I've created, that faux bleached effect. And then we've got this one here, which probably needed a bit longer, me sitting on the water, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. And that's going to go inside our card as well. So everything's going to be blended together. So I'm literally just going to stick all these pieces together. And then I think that still leaves us time, Debbie, to go over then the Shimmer Inkpads, which will be amazing.
Well, I've got loads more people commenting, so I'll read a few comments out, Debbie, while watching you stick this together. Laurie Geertman on YouTube says, hello everyone, I am absolutely loving this format as well. I want to play, but I have to work today. It's never good when you've got to work and you can't play.
No, well, we can't say that.
We are lucky. We're lucky. We're the lucky ones that get to do this day in, day out. But yeah, totally get that, Laurie. Liz R says she likes using the opaque pads for using with the embossing powder. My 5-year-old Disney, this is my lovely fellow Barnsley girl, said, this must be from earlier when I went into native Barnsley talk. She says, you can take the lass out of tan, but you can't take the tan out of the lass. So that was town. For translation on Facebook, town. I try and do it when I'm talking here. It's town, but tan is what we call it. Are you going into tan? That's our expression we use. So thank you for that, lovely. Oh, this is nice. This must be from Susie. She's put, Debbie, you're such a star in the presenter spot. I just love it when you're here.
Oh,
lovely.
That's very
Thank you, Susie.
Yes.
That's very kind of you. Anna Gosling-Smith said she's bought 2 packs of Daubers, put them somewhere really safe, but guess what? She's got no Daubers because she doesn't know where they are.
I have to admit, when I was using mine the other day, well, I wasn't using them because I lost them and I thought I've put them somewhere safe, and then I'd finished what I needed to do and then found them.
Oh,
they were in another drawer.
That is typical, that really is. Lovely Christine Mahoney is in and she says, hello again everyone to the glamorous girls, Debbie and Debbie. Love to you both, love to you too. Beverly Bryant's asked the question, Debbie, are you using using watercoloured paper for this particular demonstration?
So I use watercolour, yes, on the one which I stencil through, but on the embossing folder one, I just use our multi-purpose cardstock.
I love that dry brush technique. I think that was really lovely what you did
It's really
there.
effective, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Beverly Bryant on Facebook. This is going to tickle you, Debbie. Debbie needs to do craft stash for the wax seals. a wax seals craft stash show. Absolutely, we'll put Debbie's name forward for that one.
Well, do you know what? I can do them now because I have redeemed myself,
I actually
Debbie.
saw that, Debbie,
I
and
know.
I was super impressed with your...
I will never again use the normal wax seals, the original wax seals, but I do absolutely love our new wax seal kit.
They are lovely, aren't they?
It's just absolutely beautiful.
Stephanie Theodos on Facebook says a little dotty tape pen works too about holding it down onto the stamping platform. That's true because I've often done that as well. Beverly Bryant also has asked us, Debbie, and this is a question for both of us, do you get nervous being the expert when there is another expert on this side presenting? I'll let you answer that one, Debs. Do you get nervous?
No, I love it. I love being a presenter for those reasons because I love seeing what my work colleagues but friends do, and I absolutely love seeing their take on things. But no, I think none of us are frightened of trying something. None of us are frightened of making a mistake.
Nope.
And I think everything we do is always about learning, regardless of our skill level. So no, I don't at all. I
don't get nervous as such unless it's Leanne.
So I thought I would, and actually I don't at all.
Do you know what it is? It's because she's the head of everything. They're like the product development stages, and she's taken it from that stage at the beginning and taken it all the way through and seeing it that you think, I feel like I put myself under a bit of pressure that I want to do it justice, if that makes sense.
Well, I said to her this morning, I don't know why I'm not on her design team. I was coming up with all these clever ideas.
Debbie, you come up with some amazing ideas. You really do. You absolutely do. Look at that.
So it's beautiful, isn't it? And it's not so much about the card or what I've done. It's more about all those different things
techniques
that you can do with those ink pads. And for me, I just think they are just beautiful and I love them. And just pick your colours because whatever colours you could be doing that same card, but in all different colours. But I do love that we've got that glossy thanks on the front there. It looks absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
Love that one.
And do you know what, Debs? That has just shown how fantastic and why I know that you love them so much, but it just shows you why that the opaque pigment inks are really special because of all those lovely techniques as well. And that card has literally got everything on there in terms of technique-wise. So that for me is one of my personal favourites. I love that one. We've had some more photos come through. A lovely friend of ours here at Crafters TV, Maggie Fielding, has done the most beautiful card there. Look at that lovely background drop there with the ink. That is stunning.
That's beautiful.
They're clean and simple, but absolutely
I like clean
stunning,
and simple
aren't they?
cards. Yeah, very
and she's
nice.
done us another one, sent another one in here. Look at that one with that lovely backdrop of colour just in the back. Absolutely stunning. Stunning.
And actually, doesn't that show you that you haven't got to do too much to your card?
Exactly.
And that's not taking anything away from Maggie because it's a beautiful card. I love the way she's white and white and white, matte and layers, but that pop of colour in the middle is stunning. Love that.
Absolutely. Susan Griffiths has sent one in, and she said this is a special thanks to Michelle for the inspiration using foiled acetate, gilding wax and vellum as per Debbie Fisher's edition the other day. Thanks, Debbie.
Yeah, we were doing that last week and Michelle made an acetate card and it was absolutely stunning, but I said to her, you know what would make it more stunning if you put an acetate insert into it. Oh my goodness, Debbie, it just looked amazing. And I can see from Susan's card there, that looks truly beautiful.
I need to fish that one out,
really
Debs.
set it off.
I need to fish that one out. I'm going to have a little look and see. I want to see that one.
It's stunning.
Yeah,
really
they're lovely.
Stunning.
Well, thank you to everybody for sending in and sharing your lovely pictures because inspiration inspiration galore from all of those lovely ones that you've just seen as well. Now we're going to give Debbie a couple of minutes. We're approaching in the last 25 minutes of the show. We're going to give our Debs a little, actually it's just flowing really lovely today, this Craft Your Stash show, because we're going to move on to the last of the ink pads that we want to show and share with you. I say we, the royal we again. Our lovely Debbie's take on the Shimmer ink pads. So do make sure you come back and join us in a couple of minutes. But first, here's a little look, well, have a little look at what my lovely TV hubster's going to tell you.
Hi, I'm Ben from Crafters TV. As you may know, we've just launched an amazing new website, our new home of papercraft to house all of your crafty needs. And as we've had a bit of a makeover, I'm here today to show you how to check out Crafters TV on our sparkling new website, including how to watch live, catch up with previous shows, and how to view the latest schedules. So, let's get started. First, go to the Crafters Companion homepage. Select the correct location at the top of the page. Click the Crafters TV icon on the top right-hand side of your screen. To watch the show live on the website, click the Watch Now button in the middle of your screen. You'll be taken to the relevant show page where you can watch the show, shop the show, and shop the day at your leisure. To view the Crafters TV schedule, click the View Our Schedule button in the middle of your screen. You'll be taken to the TV schedule where you can browse each date plus all of the shows that are on that day. You can then click on each show to be taken to a page where you can watch and shop the show. If you want to catch up on a previous show, hit the Catch Up button on the purple Crafters TV bar. Then you can scroll down to see all of the previous Crafters TV shows from recent days. If you're looking for something specific, you can click the Craft Expert, Craft Area, Shows and Date filters just above the list of shows. Take a moment to browse until you see the show you want to catch up on, then click onto the show. You'll then be taken to the catch-up page where you're free to watch the show and check out all of the crafty goodies on our Shop the Show and Shop the Day pages. Enjoy!
What makes Crafters TV so special is you guys.
It's really special because the experts are really experts. They're really skilled at what they do, and they want to make sure that the audience also improves on their skills.
Crafters TV is so special because you've got together a really sort of key group of people and people that are very passionate about the products.
Crafters TV is so special because it's a unique community that we have with each other where we can learn and grow and communicate with each other.
Community, the family spirit, the education, everything to do with craft. We are all like-minded people who share a passion.
I love all the inspiration the demonstrators bring and all the knowledge for us out here.
What makes Crafters TV so special? 100% it's the interaction. No other crafting TV channel or show has the same interaction.
I love the community, I love chatting live, I think that's the best part. And it's gone beyond crafting because we've become friends.
It feels to me to be a really, really close relationship with our customers and viewers.
You guys make us feel like we're part of your family. I've never been on the show before, but one of my friends who I did meet from CCTV encouraged me, and I was on the craft along.
Massive team of people, and I think they've all got their role to play, and it just brings everything together. It allows us to do our job and just love it.
The people, obviously. The people not just here at Crafters Companion, but the viewers that watch us. I mean, everybody. We have this real magical essence about it.
Bye for now. Bye.
Debbie, you've broke the internet. Susie T says the amount of love that's come through for that last card, off the charts. I think it might be a straightforward demo of the show later. And the comments are honestly really enjoying this. Thanks, girls, says Chris on YouTube. Anna Gosling-Smith on YouTube says that pigment ink over that macro embossing folder looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
Would never have thought of using them like that. No painting with them, so 2 great tips there. I couldn't agree more. Jill's put, Lilge Craft, sorry Jill, but this might be my favourite. Beverly Bryant, exceptional card, Debbie. Stephanie Theodos says, I love that card, Debbie. Jane Adams, beautiful. It matches Debbie's dress. Why, thank you. Susan Griffins has put stunning card again, Debbie. The shading and the tones are lovely. Mauve or Maeve, I think it might be Maeve, absolutely beautiful. Sarah's put beautiful card, Debbie, so pretty. And it's still coming on. Bubble and Squeak on YouTube. I love the macro embossing folders. So much love for it, Debbie, and people put in Dinah Fairbanks on YouTube, and a lot of other people learnt so much from these Craft Your Stash shows. Thank you. Excuse me. You know when you know it's coming, Debs, and you can't stop it, and I'm like, I wanted to read so many more comments, but we'll come back to them in a moment because we are going to move on to the final ones. And I love these, and I know Debbie does as well. It's our Shimmer ink pads. Over to you, Debs.
Yeah, absolutely. I do love them. They are beautiful. Now, I haven't got, I thought I put my little flower stamp in, and I haven't done it. What I love about, I was just going to say to Debbie though, I love that we take things back to basics on these shows, because it really shows you all those different techniques that you can do with your ink pads. And there's so many, because sometimes we get these ink pads and we just forget the sorts of things that we can be doing with them. You've just got to choose which ones you love. Now, the Shimmer ink pads were a real favourite of people when they come out. I think because it was the first ones we did with that beautiful teardrop shape. The shape of them are amazing because they sit so nice in the palm of your hand. The other thing they do is offer you that really small nib as well, so you can get into precise points, which I absolutely love, or you can just do that sort of bigger edge where you can apply the ink, so it's amazing. Now, they are packed with shimmer, so they are beautiful. They almost make things look pearlized, which is great. The other thing is that everything I've shown you that we've done with our pigment ink pads, you could do with these, because they are a pigment ink pad. They're pigmented, but they have a metallic effect in them. So, and they've got this pearl, so it makes them pearlescent. Not so much of a shimmer, but more of a pearlize. So it's like creating your own, if you was to put this down on a whole piece of cardstock, in fact, let me just show you that. It's actually like creating Centura Pearl, but in different colours. So literally, look at this. If I just wipe it across the actual designs, you get that beautiful pearlised effect.
Absolutely.
I mean,
that's still wet.
Yeah, it's still wet, but actually, let's dry it, because even when it's dry, you get the most amazing pearlised cardstock, which is incredible. So beautiful. And it shows you how juicy they are. So putting that down, you can paint with these, you can do backgrounds with them. There is just so much you can do with your Shimmer ink pads. But what I also love about them, look at that. I mean, they're just beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. But what I love about them mostly is the fact that you've got different colours.
Yeah.
We've got different colours to what we have. So I love that all our other ink pads match, and we've got the same colour families in those two. But I now love that we can go into and explore all these other in-between colours, which are beautiful. This lime soda is just, in fact, I'm just going to put some on some cardstock for you, just to show you how beautiful they are. This lime soda, look at this.
I know, it's just...
I mean, it's just incredible, just beautiful. And every single one you go to, it doesn't matter which one. This one here, look at this. I mean, it doesn't matter what you lay down. That lay down of colour is just going to be beautiful. So you'll love them, absolutely love them. Now, I want to use, even though I'm using these colours, I want to do something quite soft with them, because that's what these offer. They offer you a softness that we don't get in our other ink pads, and I love that about them. Just going to clear this, let me just wipe that away. So first of all, I'm going to stamp with them. So I did do my card in a rose, but I forgot to bring my rose stamp with me. It was from my Academy of Colour. So I'm just going to use that butterfly stamp that I've been using to stamp with. And I love this because it's just really beautiful. And actually, I do want to bring in another piece of cardstock because I think you will get more from them as well. So first of all, I'm going to stamp with a few different colours. Let's do our sort of plum. So this is our sugar plum. I'm going to put that on my edges, like so. I'm then going to bring in my ink daubers because I want to just get some precision stamping in the middle there. So let's bring in that green. You can see you've got that real sponge, which is beautiful. So let's just go in with that green in the centre. And then we'll also use a different one with our raspberry. It's going with our raspberry. Just blending those colours together at the end. And what I love about techniques like this, Debbie, is you never know what you're going to get, because each time you put them on, even if you're using the same colours, you get a slightly different variation. Just really beautiful stamps. And then all we're going to do, even though I've got my, this is quite a smaller piece, but I'm actually just going to stamp that going across. Like so. Look how beautiful that is.
That's
absolutely
gorgeous.
It's just stunning. So then what you can do, so let me just pop those covers back on. You can actually bring in your spritzer, so which is why I'm going to bring this one in. So if you bring that spritzer in again, we can sort of re-ink our, just sort of waft of water over the top, and it means that then you can come in and start getting some extra lay down of colour down, because it will get drier the way it goes on, but you get those sort of extra. Let's see if we can get one more out of it. Do another one. But you get those beautiful effects. You can be really creative with those. So really good way that you can stamp with them and create those backgrounds.
Good way to use up your excess ink, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So we've got our topper there. Then what I want to do is bring in some more watercolour, and I'm going to go back to what we did earlier by creating a sort of splodge effect background, because all these colours look beautiful together. These three colours really work well. So all I want to do is I only want to put that colour where I know is going to be needed. So I'm putting just a little bit around the edges, and then I know that I just want that colour to go inside.
That's so clever,
there.
Debbie. I never even thought of doing that, and it stops you from wasting ink.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The amount for such a long time, my ink would just go all over, and then you'd have it all at the sides, or it wouldn't be in one place. And just and it's the same if you're doing your water. Your aquas are brilliant because you just literally draw a mark round your card.
Never even thought of that.
Yeah, and then you can scribble that same colour down. So just adding some more in there. Just making sure we keep within those lines. And then our last colour, which is this one is your peach rose. I love this one. It's got quite an intense colour, this one. Just going to pop that into little places like so. And then all I'm going to do again, we're going to spritz onto there. So that really nice way of being able to pop that together. And then I'm going to use my brush, and I'm going to take a lot of the water out, because I just want to give that splodge effect, but I don't want that almost like mouth curves. We've got curves in there, haven't we? And I don't want those curves. I just want to get a really nice background, but we don't need it to be too precise. So just popping that down like so. I think we've got enough on there, and then we're just going to lay our cardstock in there and pick that up. Like so. So just making sure it goes to all the corners. Just run your fingers up there, all over, and then when you bring that off, so that hasn't, can you see it's a bit dry in the middle, so all we're going to do with that, we're just going to spritz it again, a bit more water, and then we can replace that back down. So you don't have to worry, it doesn't matter how much, if you want a bit more, we can put that into a different place. But what I love about this, Debbie, is you can still have that amazing effect, that shimmer effect on it, even though we're watering it down. So you've got that on your back of your card, and then let's clear this one up. And then all we're going to do is we're going to give this one a dry. So placing that on there. So I think what it is, whatever you can do with one ink pad, there is so much more on top of that you can do, and it doesn't matter what ink pad you've got, just research, because we have done so many shows now. We've done masterclasses on our ink pads, we've done launches on them, and you'll be able to really see what you can do with them. They are just beautiful to use.
Kit always asked a question on YouTube, can you heat emboss with the Shimmer ink pads?
Oh yes, absolutely. Yes, they're pigmented ink pads. So yeah, whatever you can do with your pigment ink pads, you can absolutely heat emboss.
And Stephanie's asked, Stephanie Theodos on Facebook said, do these methods work just as well with the silicone mats or the mixed media mat? Can you create that technique?
Do you know what, Debbie? I think it's personal choice, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think for me, I love our mixed media mat, but I always forget to get it out.
Yeah.
I do love it when I'm using the shimmer inks, and I love it when I'm doing the glitter paste.
Yep.
But because my glass mat is out all the time, for me, I just don't, I think it's just, that's the game changer, isn't it, your glass mat?
And I always use as well, you'll get two different looks. If you use the same method, what Debbie's just done, but use it with your craft mat, you get a different look. Because on your craft glass mat, it pools, so like all the ink pools. But on the craft mat, it separates, and you'll get two different looks. So it depends on your personal choice, like Debbie's just said. That's a gorgeous background, what Debbie's done. And I'll be totally honest, 9 times out of 10, my glass mat is the one that I use the most. Yeah. Because it's there. It's like Debbie said, it's always there for you to use. So that's the one that I tend to use as well. But try it with your craft mat if you've got a craft mat. And if you have got a silicone mat, try it with that one as well. You'll get different results, but you equally can just do that as well with all your different surfaces, shall we say.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there is something just so nice about having your mat that's always there. It's the one I use all the time. But yes, I think it's personal preference. If you love your mats, then absolutely use them. I do use them if I've got really messy stuff that I need to leave to dry, because then you can use them on top of your glass mat and then take them away, and then you can still work on your surface. So we're just going to pop that in place there. So we've just created that middle. But look at the softness of colours that we've got in there. It's just beautiful. And then I've done the same with some sides, and I've just done some faux bleaching as well. And all we're going to do is pop these to the side of our stepper card. So pop them just up there.
That's lovely, all those different techniques that you can do with it. And
totally.
You're making your own background paper as well, Debs?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, these look like you've took them out of a pad, don't they? They look like you sort of, you've not done those backgrounds. And I would say if you love making backgrounds, do them over a period of time. So you've got loads of different backgrounds that you can then use whenever you need them. I don't know about you, Deb, but I've got piles of background papers. And,
do you know, Debbie, funnily enough, I were emptying my bags out because there's been some bags that I'd left and not emptied out, and I were putting all my background inks when I was a show down at Hobby Maker, and I realised I'd got 2 great big boxes full. You know, they're really useful boxes. Yeah. 2 great big boxes full of background papers that I've made with all my inks and my, you know, U-Poo papers and things like that. Oh, honestly, the amount of backgrounds with all the inky, because I won't throw anything away, Debs. No. I won't throw anything away. You never know when you're going to need them or when you're going to use them.
I know, it's so true. But I love a bit box. I love delving in a bit box, I call it my bit box. Delving in, grabbing all your little bits of papers and offcuts, and that's when I then get lost, and then you come on air and people say, oh, what pad is that from? And like, it was out of my bit box. Right, so we've got that. So my sentiments are now not going to go because I'm going to bring that in, but this was my rose that I stamped out with it, and then I put bloom and grow and rose, which doesn't really go, but bloom and grow could go with this sentiment, couldn't it? So I think let's just have that at a wonk there, and we'll pop that into place.
That looks nice.
Yes, so we'll pop that into there. Let me just pop some tape on there, and then we can have that on our card. And then that's it. Debbie, where has the time gone?
I know it's flown by. I know, and I hope Susie's not going to panic too much, but we've got a vote to do.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So we could set the vote off, and then we could let you have a little bit of time to vote if you wanted, and then announce it in the next show. But Susie T's normally not too bad. She's quite a quick counter, she is. But these are all beautiful. I think it's going to be a tough one. Well, I'm saying a tough one for me. I don't think it is really, because I've got a little personal favourite.
Yes, although I do think we've already got a winner for demo of the day.
A demo of the day?
Yes.
Oh, did you do something this morning?
Yes, it's on the shelf, Debbie.
I did wonder whose that was.
I did a penguin with Ada's name on it for
I love that,
Leanne's
Debbie.
granddaughter.
Do you know, I've made my own baubles before using it because we work with creative in store. So in the shops, we've had their products in our store, and you teach classes and things like that. But I bought myself loads and made my own Christmas baubles that I'd sent out to family and friends.
Yeah, they're very cool, aren't they?
Yeah, that is gorgeous, Debs.
And there we go. So that was our
Absolutely
butterfly
beautiful.
one. If I bring in, I quite like that one actually. I did do the rose one.
Yeah,
so I'll bring in
they're
the rose
lovely,
one.
yeah.
But it shows you those two differences that you can do with them.
Absolutely.
And that's just with stamping with them, which is not what we've showed a lot of.
Yeah.
But I love stamping with them.
Could you just line up your mix and just quickly show them, and we'll set a quick vote off. Although I think I am going to agree with Debs on what possibly will win today. However, it's been an absolutely fabulous show. Debbie's done some lovely things. I mean, you may already have got water reactive, quick dry, opaque pigments and shimmer. But Debbie's giving you lots of inspiration to get them out and use them because they're so versatile. They're not just for stamping. As Debbie's shown, there's lots of things that you can do with them. So Debbie, number...
Yes, number one. So that was our first one, which was our wet on wet. So that was our water reactive, number one. Number two was our quick drying. Number three was our pigment ink pads. And number four was our shimmer ink pads.
Oh my God.
1, 2, 3 or 4.
And it's down to you, and you've got just a couple of minutes to get that in, and Susie to frantically... God, sorry, Susie, to frantically count them all up. Renee says, thank you, Debbie and Debbie, for a great show. Loving all the techniques. I have all the ink ranges and rarely use them. Now I have lots of inspiration, so love to you both. That's very kind, Renee. That's what these Craft Your Stash shows are all about, and Debbie's done a stellar job today. Beverly Bryant says, some lovely demos today with wonderful techniques. Susie says, nah, go for it. I can count fast. She's fine. Laurie's put, I love this need to start creating more backgrounds, especially for mail cards. And Susie also said she's got a lot of background papers too. Loves to get inky and have a play with the ink pads and sparkle pens. I mean, seriously, that's what you need to do. Play with them. Debbie's showing you how you can turn those inky backgrounds into those cards, and she's done a stellar job. And they really, really are beautiful. While we're waiting for those to go in, like I said, this show's not been about, we're not selling anything. There's plenty of things on the website. We've got bundles of shimmer ink pads. We've got bundles of quick dry, water reactive, and the opaque ones. There's also individuals. You can go and choose them. Maybe just buy 1 or 2 from each one, so you can have a little try and perhaps replicate some of those lovely demos that Debbie has shown you, some of those techniques, because that's what it's all about. But that's what Craft Your Stash shows have been all about. So I'm really pleased that you've loved this. But a resounding result, probably a runaway one as well, Debbie, and it's my personal favourite. It's number 3.
Yes.
Yes.
I love number 3 as well, yeah. And I'm glad my favourite ink pads won. Thank you, guys.
Yes, and thank you, Debbie, for a lovely show. It's been absolutely phenomenal. And I have loved watching you with the inks, because I know I love the ink pads, but it's been lovely to watch Debbie get so creative and make all those beautiful makes. So thank you to the gorgeous Debbie. Thanks to producer Nicola, and to our lovely Charlotte, and to Tracy, Jake and Julia out there as well. Did I say Charlotte and Nicola? I think I did. Yeah, thanks to Susie T as well. Thanks to all of you. Come and join us though, 6 p.m. here in the UK, 1 p.m. US time, and 10 a.m. for our fabulous Cartload show. See you then.